Following breaking news, Joe Biden, the president-elect, is nominating Boston Mayor Marty Walsh to be his labor secretary. Multiple people familiar with the matter have shared that news with Ed O'Keefe of CBS News. Now, it's unclear at this point if Mayor Walsh plans to accept the offer or even when the confirmation process will begin. If Mayor Walsh is confirmed as labor secretary, the president of the Boston City Council, Kim Janey, would become acting mayor. But there are some dates involved with that. Boston City Councilor Ricardo Arroyo joins us now. Councilor, thanks so much for taking the time. First of all, what's your reaction to the news?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the mayor for his services to the city, but I've also had a front row seat as a city councilor to the leadership that Kim Janey exhibits daily as the president of the body, and I'm incredibly excited that Kim Janey is going to become the acting mayor if and when he does leave.
This is a crisis situation right now with the pandemic. We know we've had news conferences with the mayor almost daily about the restrictions in Boston or what the next steps will be in terms of maintaining our healthcare system. Are you concerned about a switch in leadership in the midst of a crisis like this?
I think that so two things. One, it's absolutely a trying time. We're also, not to be forgotten is that we'll be trying to put together a budget in this time. We have to vote on a budget in June. And so the next budget for the next fiscal year is going to be created now by whoever that acting mayor is. So it's an incredibly integral time as well with the vaccination rollout and the ways that we're dealing with the COVID crisis, whether or not that's going to require further shutdowns and things of that nature. But what I will say about Kim Janey specifically is that I do believe she's equipped to do this job. I believe she's somebody who will step in day one ready to lead on this and be very strong for us as a mayor. But I do hope that there is some transition time in there just so that that process is done smoothly. And I do believe there will likely be one. But I will say this, that if anybody's worried about what that looks like, I've seen Kim Janey's leadership up close. I think she'll be able to handle this day one.
And of course, this will mean a big political change in the city of Boston. We want to bring in CBSN Boston political analyst John Keller now, who's speaking to us from Washington, D.C. John?
Yeah, big political change. That's the understatement of the day, Paula. No question about it. Although, there's been so much speculation and yearning in many quarters for a mayor of color. We're one of the last major cities in America not to have had that. That I know there's going to be a lot of excitement about the fact that there are now potentially several very well qualified people of color seeking the job. But don't forget, in a short sprint race like this, there are a number of candidates, people of color or not, who might look at it and decide that, hey, I have some citywide name recognition. I might be interested in giving this a try. In a crowded field, I might have a shot. Let me just throw out one name. I haven't spoken with him about this, but what about somebody like Michael Flaherty, the at-large city councilor who ran citywide against Tom Menino unsuccessfully a number of years ago? I'm sure Councilor Arroyo can speak to this, but in a situation like this, I don't know, Councilor, you were probably you were probably young when, in 1993, when Ray Flynn left for the Vatican, but that was, I believe, an 8 or 9 candidate melee that was eventually won by Tom Menino.
Councilor Arroyo, do you expect this to suddenly turn into a really big field?
The precedent is that it does. That's certainly the precedent of mayoral elections when the seat doesn't have a sitting incumbent who was, when Menino ran way back when, that field got relatively crowded. In 2013, that field was incredibly crowded. I would expect that there are names that we haven't heard to date that will certainly run for that seat now.
Any other thoughts as you watch Mayor Walsh begin the confirmation process, if he does, in fact, accept the nomination? Do you have any inside knowledge about whether or not he decides to accept?
I don't have any inside knowledge to that. That's obviously a decision he'll make. But what I will say for the city of Boston is that I always think it's in the interest of the city when we have somebody who knows the city as well as he does serving our interest in D.C. I think that's an incredible boon for Boston. And I will also say that some folks may have not heard of Kim Janey prior to this, but I assure you that when you get to know Kim Janey, you will like Kim Janey. You will understand her competence and her ability to lead in this moment.
All right, Councilor Ricardo Arroyo and
Yep.
John Keller, thank you so much. And
Thank you.
sorry, one more time?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. In the meantime, President-elect Joe Biden also selected Merrick Garland as his Attorney General. Garland is a federal appeals court judge, and you'll recall that back in 2016, he had been nominated for a seat on the Supreme Court by President Obama. That was blocked by Republicans, and Merrick Garland is a Harvard Law School graduate. Also today, this is video of Merrick Garland. Also today, President-elect Biden chose Newton native Lisa Monaco to be a Deputy Attorney General. Monaco served in a key Homeland Security role under former President Obama during the Boston Marathon bombings 7 years ago, which President-elect Biden specifically referenced, and he described her today as a veteran, prosecutor, and public servant. CBS News has also learned President-elect Biden will pick Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo for Commerce Secretary. It's unclear at this point whether she will accept that nomination. And we have much more on the president-elect's nominations coming up on WBZ News at 5 o'clock.